there's been tremendous success with PPP because there have been very few companies that have gone under. And I think that what I was surprised about, Mr. Secretary, is there's still some money left when the money, frankly, is something that keeps businesses alive. It seems quizzical. What's going on?
Well, Jim, first of all, we couldn't be more pleased with the success of the PPP, and you saw that in the unemployment numbers. So not only did we save millions and millions of jobs, but there's no question in my mind the increase in jobs was a direct result of the PPP and reopening the economy. Those are both very important factors. Now, you got to remember, when we asked Congress for money, they were afraid we were going to run out again, so they gave us an extra $60 billion. So when we modeled this, we didn't think we'd end up spending all this money. And now that we've given the restaurants more flexibility of 24 weeks, which that was the number one ask they had for the president when they came in, my guess is that you're going to see the restaurants come in and now take up a bunch of this money. But we're in productive discussions. Yesterday I was at the SBA committee, and huge bipartisan support for this program.
Well, look, as someone who follows the restaurant community well and is involved with associations, I think it has been miraculous because that's where 13 to 14 million people are working. But rent. We have to talk rent throughout the system because rent's been okay as there's been a lot of forgiveness for the last couple of months, and you can't evict. But that should be the next. You gave great flexibility with PPP. You allowed more money to go toward rent. But what do you do with all the landlords who have mortgages themselves and the restaurants that may not get the traffic in but have to pay that rent?
Well, Jim, let me just first comment on the residential side. And I think the moratoriums really helped on the residential side. And you know, when you look at the numbers and the number of people, it was not overwhelming, the number of people that needed to do this. So, again, I think that's an indication of the $3 trillion we've pumped into the economy, both in terms of the economic impact payments and PPP and extended unemployment. And on the commercial side, you're right, it is more complicated. You have companies, particularly in retail, that are having a lot of issues. They're going to have to deal with the rent. The landlords then have to deal with mortgage payments. And that's why I said yesterday, when we look at the next round of CARES 4, I think one of the things we're really going to need to be very focused on is how do we help the industries that are especially impacted. And I would say, you know, hotels, travel, entertainment, restaurants are right up there. So we're going to need to be much more targeted in making sure that we get people back to work and we help these industries. And the president and I won't be done until we get every single person back to work.
Mr. Secretary, how closely do you follow things like the monoclonal antibody test from Regeneron or Lilly or the possible Moderna or J&J vaccines? And I say that because if you give us that bridge, including the $600 unemployment, and we get to the end of the bridge, then things are going to be, look, I'm going to say it, they're going to be spectacular. So do you monitor it and say, you know what, we got to keep this thing going? Or does there come a time where you just say, all right, we've done everything we can and let's hope science prevails?
Well, we're never going to say we've done everything we can. We're going to do everything until we get rid of this virus, both economically and on the medical side. You did mention the unemployment. Let me just be clear. You know, we knew there was an issue with the unemployment where some people were getting paid more to stay home than to work. So whatever we do with unemployment, we're going to fix that. But on the medical side, and I can't comment on any specific one of these, but I can tell you we had a very productive update this week at the task force. The vice president led us, and we had a presentation on both the viral and the vaccines and the investments that the U.S. government is making. And I'm quite optimistic in the medical progress that we have made and what will be done between now and the end of the year. And, Jim, let me just say, as we reopen the economy, you know, as I have said before, I think you're going to see a pretty big rebound in the third and fourth quarter. I know the Blue Chip survey for GDP has a growth rate of 17% in the third quarter. So with the reopening of the economy, with the $3 trillion plus a new round in CARES 4, I think you're going to see a lot of Americans getting back to work.